What's up guys, it's Roger, and today I'll be trying out something very different on our Blink Warlock. Gonna be trying out some transversive steps with a double lightweight build here so we can go as zoomy as possible. You see, here's the thing, there's only a few ways in the game to increase your sprint speed. One of those is by using a lightweight frame weapon. When you do that, it's going to increase your sprint speed by 6.25%. Now that's all nice and good, but there's one other way to increase your sprint speed, and that's by using exotics such as the transversive steps here. You can see it says buff sprint, so those also buff your sprint by 6.25%. You put those together and you get about 12.5% of a sprint speed bonus. Obviously you can go super quick with that, and that's something I wanted to try out. Now, in case you're wondering, because I do have people ask this to me every now and again, people are like, well, what if I want to run transversives over my astrocyte? And it's like, yes, you can do that. After using it today, it was fun. It is nice when they can just auto-load your weapons. The extra slide distance is honestly the best part of the boots in my opinion, and you can get on top of your enemies very well. But I 100% of the time when you're using your blink, suggest to you to use astrocyte bursts. It's better than transversives. It's better than ophidians. Astrocyte Burst gives you so many boosts, this is what you want to use. And the only thing in the game that can buff the distance of your blinks is astrocyte. Being amplified on Blink Hunter does not make you blink further. Transversives don't. Stompies don't. I know people get that in their head because you do go further before you start the blink and after you finish the blink, but the actual blink distance itself is just a set distance. The only thing that can increase this is the astrocyte burst. So again, if you're going to be tryharding, you're like, Roger, what exotic do I use? Use the astrocyte. And if you're going to ask me that question, and then a second later you're like, well, I like transversives or ophidians instead. That's great. Why'd you ask me the question if you already had an answer set in your head? But if you do want to use that, go right ahead, Timmy. I'm not going to gosh darn stop you. Now, as for the lightweight frame weapons we are going to be using for our primary, we have on the Rose hand cannon with small bore, flared magwell, slide shot, and rangefinder with a combat grip right here. Did put an Icarus grip on there and a stability masterwork. This is the role that I love the most on Rose. People like different roles, that's completely fine. But to me, I really like slide shot and rangefinder. Someone the other day was asking why slide shot is so good in my server. They didn't really get it. The thing is, when you're a top tier player, a high tier player, whatever you want to call it, you are going to be sliding into a lot of engagements. Slide shot is going to give you a range boost. It's going to help your accuracy cone, stuff like that, the stability. So you want to slide into an engagement and start taking shots with this. It does wear off after your first shot. That's true. The thing is, it's only a 0.3 second cooldown between each proc of slide shot. So you can just slide out of cover, take a shot, slide back to cover, and then slide back out. And by the time you do that next slide, you can just reproc it. It also reloads your weapons, which is very nice. So that mixed with transversives makes it to where I never actually have to reload this weapon by myself. I'm going to be using the Retro Futurist shotgun, a lightweight frame shotgun of course, and my favorite one in the entire game. I have used this thing for a long time, as you can tell by the fact that I have around 1,800 kills on this. This is my baby, love it a lot. Quick draw snapshot sights goes absolutely masterfully on this thing, so definitely suggest you use this if you have it, but really any lightweight you have, you can use just fine. The 7th Layer CQC is a great option. Anything will work just fine. Without Remorse is actually a great one, especially if you're someone who likes to use hip fire grip type stuff. All great choices. Mods here, if you want to see them, we just have some targeting type stuff. We have on heavy-handed and firepower. I recommend you always use these. The last mod I suggest you use is Reaper for the mods that are going to be getting you orb generation. After that, I have on a grenade kickstart, so whenever we fully expend our grenade, we get some made energy back, and if we do have some armor charge, then it will consume that and give us even more energy back, so we love to see that. Just some unflinching stuff on here. Down here, I have 3 mods on that I have not used before, which is going to be Absolution, which gives us ability energy back on a orb pickup, right? Over here we have Orb of Restoration, which is picking up an orb power, grants a small amount of energy to your ability with the least energy, so whatever we are missing the most energy on is going to get the energy to it. And then at the same time we also have Innervation, so reducing grenade cooldown each time you pick up an overpower. So all of this together is going to give us a lot of ability regeneration. And then down here to finish on our bond, like I said, I have 2 bomber mods next to our Reaper mod here because I just love bomber mods so much. You mix this bomber mods with all of these and and with the grenade kickstart, you're going to be getting your nades back like crazy. Of course, I do have 100 discipline on too, and that very much helps. You do want to use a Nova Bomb, of course, this week because it is cap point trials. You are more likely going to want to use Nova Bomb Vortex, but we do need to remember that bubbles are actually weaker now, so using Cataclysm is not as bad of a choice. Before, you wanted to use Vortex because it was guaranteed to kill the bubble and the guardians inside of it. Now that bubble has been nerfed and it has less health on it, we can actually use Cataclysm more effectively to take the bubble and the guardians out inside of it. After that, of course, we have on Healing Rift, Blink, Pocket Singularity, Axiom Bolt, and then I have on Feed the Void for our 2 fragment slots and Devour, and then I have Child of the Old Gods for 2 fragment slots. On my channel we call him Clarence, but you can call him Child of the Old Gods if you want to. For our fragments, we have on Echo of Dilation. While crouched, you sneak faster and gain enhanced radar resolution. We love that enhanced radar to pick apart exactly where our enemies are, and the raw stats never hurt anybody. Over here I have on Echo of Persistence, so our initial proc of Devour is going to go from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. We love to see that. And then over here we have Echo of Expulsion, so we blow somebody up with a nade or a Pocket Singularity, and they're going to explode a second time. That gives us another 10 intellect raw stats, so we love to see that. Down here, to finish us off, we have Echo of Vigilance, so if we take somebody out when we are broken on our shields, we get a full over shield, which is very useful for getting out of trouble or going balls to the wall on the next enemy. Anything like that, it's very good for. I think that is everything covered. If you do have any questions, go ahead, feel free to leave those in the comments or join the Blinkville Discord server. I'm going to have that linked in the top right and in the description. You can make some Blink Warlock and Blink Hunter friends. I'd love to see you there. All that being said though, if you want to leave me a like at any point in the video, I'd very much appreciate it. Or if you want to subscribe, I'd love to see you join the channel. I think we're ready to get into this gameplay though, so let's go ahead and blink on into it. Now, I want to say at the beginning here that I like to blink towards this flag a lot, right? I like to play this left side of the outside of the map, but be careful with your blinks. You see how I kind of walk to the side? As I go over that gap right there, you saw my blinks came back up off of cooldown. You're going to know they come off of cooldown because there's a little sound cue, and it also does a screen wipe effect. Make sure you actually have blinks up before you try to cross that gap, because if you use 2 blinks to get to that part of the map, by the time you go to blink over that gap, you might not actually have your 3rd blink up yet to get across that gap. So just be careful with that, because if you jump too early, you will just fall down in the pits of Tartarus right there, and that's not really fun for anybody except for the enemy team. Now, the start off here, you know, I mean, hey, sometimes you get 2 people on a match. There was actually 3 of them, but then one of them DC'd, rage quit, whatever it was, like halfway through, said goodbye to that guy. So we get to win that match pretty easily, but you can also see, I don't always just go to that outside of the map. Sometimes I come over here. You see how I put down my rift first. Now we have Clarence waiting for him to go. He's a little lazy today, but oh, there we go. He's finally starting to track. Doesn't matter anyways because I hit a nice 3-tap. Take that guy out, generate another orb of power, get those off the ground right there. I like to use the Axiom Bolts like I did right there. When I threw it at that guy, what I made sure I did was watched where it went. Just like right here, you can see I watch my Axiom Bolts to see where they're going on the map. You can see we got that grenade kill, so we did spawn an Orb of Power, take that guy out, and after another second we get another Orb of Power because we actually placed our rift before we went into that engagement. That's 2 Orbs of Power in literally 1 round. You can do that quite frequently with this build. Anyways, what I'm saying with the Axiom Bolts here, I like to use my Axiom Bolts as if they're kind of another teammate, you know? They're this annoying little mosquito that is just biting on your ass cheek, and it will not go away. So while that mosquito's biting the enemy's cheeks, what you need to do is actually pinch them with your weapon shots. Start taking shots at them. Look right here. I shoot him in the head while that's chasing him. The other one chases the other teammate. I smack that guy for my teammate. I smack the second guy. I immediately flip around because I knew the 3rd guy was behind me, hit him with some nice shots, finished them off right there. Now, I want to propose something to you when you're solo playing in Trials that I kind of call the rule of 2. And that rule proposes that if you don't get at least 2 kills per round, then you're probably going to lose that round, because chances are that your teammates are gonna look like they just fell out of Mama's Yudi this morning. And while you can't really blame them for that because some people just kind of suck butthole, you gotta try to make up for that slack where you can, right? So the rule of 2 states that you gotta kill at least 2 of the enemies or you're probably gonna lose a round. And that's a common theme you're gonna see in a lot of my clips today, including a lot of the rounds in this exact match. You can see it comes all the way to the end here of 4-4, because a lot of rounds it was hard to win because taking out 2 or 3 of these enemies per round was pretty tough. But you see here, I get my Clarence on them, we wait for his super to run out, we blink into the flag point here. Now I want to say, when you're going to go blink for a Nova Bomb like that, make sure you keep cover in front of you as much as possible for as long as possible before you go for the blink. You know, you don't want to show your hitbox before you start going for that blink Nova Bomb, or else you might lose too much health and not get a successful bomb off and just, you know, lose the round, and that would lose us the game too, and we don't really want to do that now, do we? You can see I'm blinking behind this guy, trying to take him out. Teammates do it pretty well, so I blink onto the next guy, take him out for my teammates. They take out the last guy. It's a nice round right there. Beautiful teammates push right there. I love when everyone's just like in sync, all pushing together. Beautiful stuff from the teammates right there. Now, I gotta say, as I got more used to these transversive steps, I like them a little more. The reload is very nice, the sprint speed is the nicest part about it, but this slide distance right here is something it was so hard for me to get used to. I had some nice pre-fires on this guy. You can see once he actually fights me here, he comes out. Finally, I'm like, dude, just shoot at me and I'll shoot at you. There's 1 headshot, there's 2 headshots, and I predicted he was gonna peek it again. at the same interval as he was before, so I took that last pre-fire shot, was able to knock him out, smack the second guy as he jumps across, get ready, looking at my radar as much as I can and as quickly as I can to see where I can find this last guy, running around using my slide shots, picking up an orb of power, and then boom, I finally see him on the radar right there, slap my rift down, decide, hey, the smartest thing I can do is go for my teammate's res, so that's what I do before we can actually finish this round off, kind of use my teammate as bait, but honestly that's what teammates are best for most of the time, and again, rule of 2 became rule of 3 this time. I had to slay out or we're gonna lose the entire game, so sometimes you just gotta slay, baby. Now, as I was saying with these transversives, they have a super far slide distance, and that was something that was really hard for me to get used to. It was kind of throwing off my aim sometimes. It was nice when it came with the shotgun. Look at this, I fly on top of this guy so quickly, but my aim was kind of weird when I came on him there because it was like sliding so much farther and faster than I was used to, so that was the biggest thing throwing me off when I first started using these transversives here. But yeah, doing a slide out of your blinks is a great strategy, something that isn't talked about super often because it's something that's kind of assumed you would know how to do, but it's a great thing to use. Use a slide out of your blinks, you will not regret it. Now you can see here, I knew that I probably had to either get this guy's res or, 1v3 because I didn't really want to try to do that. Luckily, my teammate did trade right there where he died, so I was able to use his Titan Shield as cover to pick him up, and again, rule of 2, take out the last 2, win that round right there. A little chunky on the frames here on this clip, so apologies for that. But you can see, I knew this guy was floating off of the last round, so I was able to take some nice shots on him. Unfortunately, missed the last headshot, but made up for it on the next guy when I smacked him, and on the second guy there. Again, rule of 2, which is basically a rule of 3, because this guy, I saw him falling, and I was like, ugh. Salute to that poor soldier right there. He was just jumping all over the place. He was like, I'm gonna juke the heck out of Roger. And I was like, brother, I think you're just gonna jump down into the pits of Tardy right now. And yeah, that's kind of what he did. But hey, he tried for something. It was cute. He tried. Now, I gotta say, I do like these lightweight frame weapons quite a lot. I wish they would make more hand cannons with the lightweight frame intrinsically on it, because they took away 150s out of the game. When they reintroduced Rose to us right here, they let it keep a lightweight frame, but what they did is they put the same impact damage, range numbers, and rate of fire as a 140 hand cannon, and that's kind of how they balanced it out, which makes it very unique, right? But I just wish I had more hand cannons that had this lightweight frame bonus on them, because I love lightweight frame weapons, but when it comes to the primary ones, usually you're using something like a pulse rifle, and that's fine, and lightweight frame pulses are actually pretty solid, but I just wish I had more hand cannons that could do that, because those are so much fun. Lightweight frame SMGs are another ones you're going to use quite a bit, and while those can tickle my toes pretty nicely, I just wish I had more choices when it came to lightweight frames in different primary categories. Now you can see here when it comes to lane, if you do have a lane like this, you can kind of throw out that nade to get some damage on your enemies to kind of chase them around and then fly in after that. I take out 2 there, I spawn an orb of power, and then my teammates just eat absolute butthole, but I said, no, I do not want to lose this round, so I'm going to throw another Axiom Bolt in. Remember, I just threw an Axiom Bolt at the beginning of this round. I want to make out something clear here. I killed this guy, and the game absolutely bullshitted me. I knew I timed that slide right into his Titan Shield, and that challenge was super perfect. I went back and watched it in slow-mo. I did not shoot my shotgun bullet until I was at least halfway, or at least until I was like 4 frames through the Titan Shield. But because of latency, he got to kill me and didn't even take damage from my shotgun blast. Got some revenge right there if that was even the same guy, but then I was blind as a bat because of all these stupid lighting effects on this map. I mean, come on, Bungie. I don't want to stare into God's burning bright asshole every time I play this game. I just want to be able to see where the enemies are without a lightning nade shaking my screen and a Titan Shield blowing my eyes up like somebody just threw a flashbang in my shower while I was taking one. But rant for another day, I suppose, or you can watch my video from earlier today because I ranted about it there a little bit too, but that's not the point right now. The point is this build is pretty fun. I do want to mention too, you can use this on any subclass because there's nothing specific about what I'm doing here besides what I pointed out to you in my Void 3.0. However, you can use transversives and this lightweight build on anything, like a solar build or a strand build, whatever you want, go ahead and do it. Even if you're on Hunter, you can use this build and just use Stompies instead. And it's a really fun one. Definitely recommend you guys go around and just zoom around the map for a while. It's some fun stuff. I want to say, if you're noticing there's no audio for these next few clips, that's because I actually left my music on accident. Sometimes I have music on between my games, and then I, pause it when I go into a match so I can focus up really quick and try to get my best clips for you guys. And then I just left it on like a dum-dum, so apologies for that. You'll hear the game audio comes back here very soon. hopefully you guys are enjoying Trials this weekend. I know that I am not too much. This is one of my least favorite weekends of Trials. This is a really funny clearance round, actually, so just I'll let you play that out for you, and you can laugh at it. But I hate Distant Shore. I hate the matchmaking how it is right now because it's all just like connection based and it sucks. So my teammates have just been god awful while the enemies have all been like either god tier or just straight up cheaters. I have faced so many straight up cheaters this weekend. It's been really, really painful. It's just a terrible weekend. You know, this map sucks. A lot of it is the lighting to me. I think the angles kind of suck. Cap points make it a little more bearable, but even then the rounds almost always go to time or somebody capping, and it's just like, Jesus, this Trials just takes too long on this map. Like, they just need to change it. This kind of pissed me off. I challenged this shield, and you can see that's a great Titan shield challenge right there. That's what I did on the other guy, but Bungie said no, but luckily it worked that time. So what happened there, in case you're wondering? You might be saying, where was your Echo Vigilance shield? And that's a great question because I had the same one. Essentially what happened is I slid through that shield, challenged him, killed him. Since I was low health, Echo Vigilance actually procced, but then it said my hitbox was still touching the shield, so it immediately evaporated my overshield. So in case you're wondering what happened there, to put it in simpleton terms, Bungie took their middle finger and not only put it in my face, but stuck it straight up my asshole. So, you know, that's really just Bungie 101 right there. Get a nice 3-piece on this one again. Rule of 2, rule of 3. Take out 3 of them right there if you want to win that match. And I wanted to win, baby. I had some pretty good matches once I switched to my Warlock, to be honest with you. And I gotta say, I'm dripped up. You let me know if you're liking this Warlock drip, because I think I look pretty hot. But like rounds like this, you know, where I just challenge 2 guys and I'm like, screw you. You know, I'm gonna blast your assholes in the next dimension. I don't even care. I actually might have got my life saved right there because of Echo Vigilance proccing, and that guy's fusion nade blew up. But since Echo Vigilance procced right when I killed him, the overshield sucked up some of the damage from that fusion nade. It was actually pretty dope. I like that play a lot. Now you can see here, this is one of my favorite things to do. Get really close on this cave entrance, throw in your Axiom Bolt, let it track, and then you can start pushing with either your shotgun or your hand cannon. That's going to let you just get on top of those guys while that thing is chasing. Either they're going to have to take some shots from your hand cannon or your shotgun, or they're going to have to take a hit from the Axiom Bolt if they don't want to spend the time shooting it. So that's a really good place you can push very solidly and take the enemy out. You can see I smack one with the shotgun there, flick over to my left because I had noticed on my radar that he was over here, blink on top of him, smack him with a good shotgun melee, and that's going to bring us into our last play. So while that plays out, I'm going to say thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you do want to make me a like or subscribe, that would just make my day, and I'm going to have a video linked on the end screen. If you want to go ahead and watch that next, in case you're interested in another build video, you can go ahead and watch that next. That is going to do it for me today, though. So again, I super appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and that is it for me today. So as always, have a great day, Guardians.